good evening guys. So today we're going to do Sense from HackTheBox, and I'm going to take this one from a different kind of run and we're going to go from scratch. So the first thing I do before I even connect my VPN is I go to HackTheBox.eu on Kali. I go ahead and log into the site, so we'll do that now. And I go ahead and go down here to Machines and go to All. Now, based on the mayor and TJ Knowles list for OSCP prep, I made a to-do list. So that's what you see here, and I'm going through the Windows machine, or the Linux machines first. So we're going to be doing Sense, so that's 10.10.10.60. So the next thing I do is I go nano/etc/hosts, and I add it right here, 10.10.10.60. And I'm kind of that ADD person that has them all in order, lowest to highest. I name them the machine and then .htb for HackTheBox. So once that's done, then we need to connect to our VPN. So in my downloads folder, you'll see right here, I've got my OpenVPN file for HackTheBox. So we'll go OpenVPN tmarsland.ovpn, and you see where I say initialization sequence completed. That's how you know that you are connected. Once that's done, you can minimize it. And then we'll come back over here to Sense, and it's been up for 13 hours. It is my currently assigned machine. I will extend machine. Okay, I don't need to extend machine time, so we'll be good. After that, I leave these two running, and I go over to another workspace, and I'll open this up, and I'll just go ping, and make sure I can ping. So that's it. That is how I prep getting ready. Once that's done, I'll run auto recon. Now this particular box, I found this out the hard way. If you go to sense.htb, you'll see this potential DNS rebind attack detected. Try accessing by IP address. This is a function of this box and this box only. So when you run auto recon, if you want accurate results, you still need to do it by IP address. So we'll go 10.10.10.60. Okay, now after this is going to take a few minutes, and we'll just talk while it goes. But this is going to run a quick Nmap scan, a full TCP, and a top 20 UDP port Nmap scan against these IP addresses. Once this is done, it's going to kick off some other scans automatically that you can see happening right now. HTTP on port 80 and SSL on port 443. Those are the only two ports that are open on this box, and then you'll see it continue to move down into NICDO scans and GoBuster scans and all sorts of other things. So this is it running. So while it runs, I'll typically start looking at the ports that it's detected, and it'll tell me how many tasks it has left. So let's go ahead and just start taking a look. So if I go to, now remember that DNS rebind, so I'll go to 10.10.10.60, and you see here I get a PF Sense, and it automatically redirected me to HTTPS. So I can look at the Nmap scan. I'm not going to find version information on PF Sense here, unfortunately. And that shows up here under results, and then this IP address. The reason that I normally name them all in my hosts is right here so I can have these all organized. But then in my scans folder, anything that has finished I'll be able to open. So the quick TCP scan is normally one of the first things that finishes. And as there's only two ports open, you see 80 and 443. I do have a HTTPD 1.4.35, and that's really the only service information I get. So that's kind of where I'm at. So we'll start looking at, exploit database, and we'll go and look at LIG HTTPD 1.4.35, see what we can find this way. No matching, so we'll drop that base version. Okay, and all of these, there's a denial of service maybe. There might be some information disclosure on this 1.4.x. But everything that's remote code execution is earlier version, so that's really not going to help us. So we'll go ahead and see PF Sense. Okay, and we're seeing here there's some cross-site scripting. There's a command injection, a metasploit, but we really don't know what version we've got yet. So let's do some other Googling around and see what we can find. So maybe somebody left default credentials. So username, admin, password, pfSense. So let's try that. Okay, and you'll see, yeah, username or password incorrect. So that doesn't really help us out. So that's kind of all about I can do until I get these scans back. Now this box, I'm going to tell you from the beginning, drove me crazy. And the reason it did is because the scan that kicks off with GoBuster isn't going to find the next piece of the puzzle. And I had to do some enumeration myself. And one of my favorite tools, for reasons that I still can't figure out, isn't picking it up. So I'm going to show you how we found the next piece of the puzzle. I don't think, yeah, my GoBuster's not done yet. So let's go ahead and look at DirBuster. And if you run DirBuster with the ampersand, it brings up the graphical interface. Now I'm going to go HTTPS 10.10.10.60. We'll bump this up a few threads here to say 75. And we'll go browse. And we'll go with the word list that was required to find this was users share word lists DirBuster, and then this directory list lowercase medium was what actually found what I needed to find. And I'm going to search for PHP files is fine because we are on a Linux server. If it was Windows, I'd look for ASP, and I'll always search for text files. Sometimes those get left behind, and that's what I'm going to need here in this case. Okay, and just to speed this up a little bit, so you'll see here I found this /changelog.txt. GoBuster, when it finishes, will actually find that. I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. So we'll just 10.10.10.60/changelog.txt. So you see here, hey, there was a failure in updating the firewall. Manual patching is required. 2 of 3 vulnerabilities are patched. The remaining patches will be installed during the next maintenance window. So that doesn't really tell me much. As this kicks off extra scans, I'm going to go ahead and pause them. So I already know what we're going to find, but you'd let this whole thing run, right? This right now says it's going to take a half hour. Hopefully we find what we're looking for much faster than that, and I'll show you kind of what it looks like. But really, this is what killed me. I normally use a multi-threaded searching tool called dirsearch, and even with this same word list in dirsearch, it's not finding the file. I'm gonna chalk this up to just a hack-the-boxism that I don't like. Hopefully somebody, if they're watching this video, can shed some light on why this is happening. But we'll go ahead and let DirBuster keep running here and see what we get. Once this is done, we'll go ahead and get into the machine, and I'll show you the vulnerability, and we'll take a look and see what we can do here. Hopefully we get an answer pretty soon. Other things that I'd be looking at, you know, I found this directory tree, so maybe we can go there. I think that all of these are giving me so this is just kind of some rabbit hole stuff. There's some basic stuff that you can play around with while you wait. None of these are linked to go anywhere. And we got an exec.php and a graph.php. That's all tied to the base. We have a CSRF folder, which gives us a not found. But if we type CSRF magic.js, let's see, we get a script that you can look at that's asking for a username and password. No data here. right? And this is all just extra stuff to kind of make you look through and enumerate. Let's see, we got anything else? Not yet. We're at 43% though, so it should go pretty quick. You might even be able to bump this up. I just watch this errors when you add more threads. You know, we'll change it up to 80, and that might speed things up just a tiny bit. It's really not going to make a lot of difference, but I wouldn't go much higher than 100. You're probably going to run into a lot of errors, and if you start hitting errors, you just have to go back and start over because it skipped some files. Once this comes out, like I said, I'd really rather run dir search. It's a really great tool. It has a good word list that comes in, but for some reason it's just not finding it, even with this word list. And this word list is how this found it. So you can see down here now we found a system tac users.txt with a 200. If you go to the results as well, you'll see it here, system-users.txt. That's where we're going to stop. That is the file that we need. Obviously, if you were doing this for the first time, you'd let this run all the way through. Okay, so system-users, it says, hey, please create the following username Rohit, R-O-H-I-T. So let's try Rohit. And then it says company default. Well, it turns out the company default is that default credential. Okay, so now we're in pfSense, which is a firewall controller. And you can see here that we have a version 2.1.3. So we'll go out to exploit database and we'll do 2.1.3. And we get nothing. We'll back that up and we get, hey, we get this command injection, status RD graph image command injection. So let's take a look at that. So it says, hey, this will return a reverse shell on a specified listener address and port. Ensure you've started a listener before running, and you need to pass rhost, lhost, lport, username, and password, which we have. So let's try and get this. So we'll go ahead and download this exploit. We'll save it. And then just for good, keeping records, I will cut that and I will go put it over in my results 10.10.10.60 exploit folder. And you see I already have it once because I've done this. We'll go ahead and replace it. Okay, so now I need a listener. And this would obviously keep running. Well, we would let it finish. I'm going to go ahead and close it now because we don't need it. And we already stopped our dirbuster. Okay, so let's get a new shell open. We'll go netcat nvl nc tac nvlp, and we'll just listen on 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's that listener running. And now I like to leave this open just so I can see what the arguments are. We'll go ahead and open a new window, and we'll go ahead and go to results. 10.10.10.60 exploit, and then we'll go Python 3 43560.py, and then let's look at those arguments. So we had to pass an rhost, so rhost 10.10.10.60, lhost, for me it's 10.10.14.10. Just remember, if you don't remember that, IPA, and then you're looking at your ton 0 IP address. 10.10.14.10 for me. That's what you're looking for what lhost. The lport, remember, is the port that we started our listener on, which is over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's see, am I passing these right? Yep, looks like it. Okay, and then tac username is Rohit. Password is pfSense. So let's go ahead and kick that off. Cross Skype request forgery token obtained, running exploit. And you can see it says it's completed, and over here on the shell I'm at a prompt. I can see a who am I, and I am root. So we can go into the root directory and we can see that I have a root.txt file here. And then we can go into the home directory, and there's rowhit. And we can see that we have a user.txt. So again, this made it look really simple in the video, and I showed you from scratch all the way through. But if you ran a tool that you love, like dir search, and you didn't find that text file, you were going to be beating your head against a keyboard for a while. And that's what happened to me for a good couple hours today, of just banging my head against it. I was looking up other passwords. I was thinking about brute forcing the login, which I probably would not have gotten through with rowhit, right? I was just assuming that admin was going to be the username and I was going to have a different password. Who knows what would have worked, but in the end, you got to think of all the possible things. Maybe you do need to try different tools and different word lists. I'll tell you, the lowercase one isn't a word list I normally use. Normally I just use that straight medium, and that's always seen me through, but I definitely learned that, hey, you have to be flexible and be willing to try some different things. So that's Sense from Hack the Box, which is box number 6 on my OSCP prep. So I'm glad to mark off the video walkthrough. I'll get this up on YouTube, and I will see you guys next with Bashed, probably later tonight or tomorrow. Have a good day.